the matter of the difference between accepting a principle and accepting a practice that derives from that principle. What do I mean? For example, Scott Nats will say to us, oh, do you believe in the principle of the self-determination of the Scottish people? And we'll say, well, yes. And they'll say, well, then you should give us another referendum. You should want another referendum. No, that doesn't follow. Because I believe in a principle, that doesn't mean that I'm going to believe in a certain practice of it. For example, I believe strongly in the principle of drinking water. I don't believe in the practice of you trying to force water down my throat. Okay? Just because I believe in drinking water doesn't mean that I want you to force water down my throat. So there is a difference between accepting a principle and accepting a particular practice that might derive from that principle. So we can believe in the principle of something, but we can differ on how it should be practiced. And we should certainly oppose the practice of something if it's going to result in something that we don't want. We can believe in the self-determination of the people. We can believe in the principle of that without believing that in practice we should always be having referendums in order to try deliberately to destroy the United Kingdom. Okay, so the principle is different from the practice, because when it comes to the practice of the principle, we all have our own interests which we need to defend. So in this case, we are opposing a practice, which is to say the referendum. We're not opposing the principle of self-determination per se. Okay, so that's something that never gets brought out properly. I hope I brought it out there for the first time. There's a difference between principle and practice. You can believe in a principle without believing in a particular practice that might derive from that principle.